Hi, this is JP Morgan.
And this is Kenneth Merrill.
Today we're going to talk about kind of our wrap-up of what was cool at NAB, because there were a lot of things announced there, and I think we should talk about some of them because I think you'll find them very, very interesting. At least we found them interesting, and I'm hoping that'll translate into you find them interesting.
The number one thing for me, honestly, funny enough, is the little RGB bulbs that Aputure announced that screw into your good old Edison sockets, just like any light bulb. But they're so cool because it's battery powered. There's actually a battery inside the bulb that powers it. And when you plug in the socket, if you plug in the light, it'll actually charge that battery, which is a double bonus. But yeah, you don't have to plug in the lamp. That's a huge thing because I love using practical lights in my scenes and stuff, but then you have to run some stinger from across the room.
You gotta try to hide it, and
it's a pain. This you could just screw in the bulb and turn it on and run it by your app, and it's RGB, so it can be any color. I just think it's so cool.
Doesn't have to be super powerful because you're looking at your practical usually in the shot, and you don't need it to be super powerful to work. It will charge while it's plugged in the lamp. So if you do have the lamp plugged in, it's charging the bulb while it's working, which is, I mean, all that's pretty fabulous. They had a lot of great announcements there. The 300D2.
Yeah.
They took that huge, those two big pieces that were ballast and power supply, and they married them into one. They shortened it so it's not so long and put batteries on each side of it versus batteries along one side. And they say it's 20% brighter. So, I mean, that whole package makes that 300D2 a lot more attractive.
And it has the wireless functionality, right? So now they have the app and you can run all your lights with that. Honestly, for me, the 20% brighter thing is always nice, obviously. That means that light will be equally as bright as 1K now, right?
About that.
Which is great, but for me the functionality of it, you know, packaging the ballast and the battery pack together and the wireless and all of that just makes it a much more attractive option.
Let's talk about wireless a little bit because I was at the super secret Aputure meeting.
Nice.
With a lot of other influencers. It's fun to be there. A lot of great people there, and really it was a matter of with that app. You can change the color, you can do any of the functions the light allows you to do. But what was amazing about it was that it creates its own wireless network, the lights do. And when it creates that wireless network, if you disconnect from that network, they don't all go down. And you reconnect with their phone or an iPad or some other device or a friend's phone or whatever, and the network's still there, nothing's changed, it'll still function without you having to have your app open. And also, it piggybacks, it like jumps. So if you're talking to one light that's right next to you, then it will talk to the light that's further away, that will network with the light that's further away, and pretty soon you can have lights a football field or longer away that are all talking to each other in a network, and so you can say,
them all,
that light that's a football field away, I want it to be brighter, or I want it to be darker, and you can change all that from your phone, and they all network together, and it's just, I don't know, it's pretty amazing.
And Aputure also said that their RGB panel is coming later this year, which I really hope happens. I thought it was going to be there this NAB, but soon, hopefully. But
the other one I loved, and the name of it is the AL-MC. So these are these little square lights. They have a kind of a case with just a slot that they drop on and magnetically connect, and when you connect them on the case, they're charging. You plug in the little case, and as you set the lights in there, they're all charging. The nice thing about that is all kinds of effects. That if you want to do an explosion, you put 4 or 5 of these in a room, and the explosion kind of goes off in different ways. Or if you want a dance party, if you want to, a fire, flickering fire, or if you want, all those kinds of effects. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with those. So
it seems like a very specialty item to me.
It's, I loved, and I know you mentioned this as well, this, and I won't be able to say it, Afidus.
Oh, yeah, the Afidus.
Afidus Timelapse camera, which on 4 AA batteries, it will run for
40 days.
40 days, and it's shooting a 1080p video, basically. But you give the interval, like how many frames per minute or per day,
so
hour,
it'll
or whatever.
It'll roll for like 10 seconds every minute or every whatever, And then it compiles it into one video file, and so it plays like a time lapse. It's only 1080p, but also it's a camera that you can leave somewhere for
it's under
40 days. It's
so
under $400.
If it gets stolen, at least it won't be the end of the world, But it's just the ability to set them up easy, and you can check it on your Wi-Fi to see how it's doing, so you can see where the camera's at. And it's just, I don't know, I thought it was a great time-lapse option, and I would hope to see a 4K version by next year.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah. My one announcement I'm excited about, and we knew about these before, LiteMat's been developing for a while, but the LiteMat Spectrum RGB mats, I love LiteMats. I love their functionality, how they're built, how they go together. They're just super easy to use. I'm really excited that they finally are releasing their RGB line. And the cool thing about them is it's not just you can tune the light to different colors, but you can actually tune the mat to be different colors across the mat. So you have orange here, blue here, or a rainbow or something like that. You can program it to change colors as you're shooting. I'm sure someone will think of some great applications for that. I probably wouldn't use. It's going to be in some music video. Yeah.
The whole wall of these.
That's the next thing. LiteMats in your shot. That's the next.
Exactly. We already have quasar tubes in the shot in every music video that's made in the last 15 years. Now there'll be LiteMats. The whole wall of LiteMats with kind of a light show going.
But I'm really excited. The price tag is
super cheap. Just like a little light bulb. 80 bucks. Yep, everyone's going to get two.
Everyone gets, you get a LiteMat, you get a LiteMat. No, they're really expensive, which has always been the downside with LiteMats, but it's a super reliable product, and I'm definitely thinking about getting one to replace my current one, which is a couple generations old, and it's a little dim.
So how expensive are they?
Oh, well, for the 4x2 foot mat, which is the really popular one, it's like $4,500.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think they're on sale right now.
4x2.
Anyways, okay, the next thing I'm really excited about is the Blackwing 7 lenses.
Yeah, you're bringing this.
This is pretty cool.
Kenneth's expensive list of things you want to buy.
So the Blackwing 7 is a company set up by Bradford Young. He shot Solo, Ain't Them Bodies Saints, Arrival, super talented, one of the best DPs in the world. And he designed what are called DNA lenses for ARRI when he shot Solo, and he kind of helped them tune this lens set to his liking, and he kind of took that idea and started his own company, and they're going to make lenses that you can kind of customize with different coatings or different characteristics that will give them a really nice dreamy look. And there are a couple stills on Instagram right now that look pretty Bradford Young that I like. They're expensive lens. I mean, it's $10,000 a lens.
But you get to choose whether it's high focus roll-off or medium focus roll-off.
I think it's cool. It'd be really cool rental item, and if you're looking for a specific look for a video, I don't know. I love lenses, and this is a new idea that other people aren't doing, so I'm excited to see how it pans out.
I got my hands on the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 2, which was nice to be able to see there, and to very similar form. I mean, it's very similar form factor. And but it really has some specs, as far as frame rates and things are going to make it extremely attractive. And I don't know, it's actually, if you're going to get into Blackmagic in that line, it's not a bad time to do it because of the frame rates and the video outputs. You've got just RAW and is it just RAW? No, it's
RAW and ProRes.
Yeah, you got RAW and ProRes there, which are great codecs to be able to work on, and like all the Blackmagic cameras, just a really focused cinema style camera at a reasonable price. Get 3 of these for one of those lenses, probably.
Almost. The Blackmagic announcement I'm excited for is the battery grip for the Pocket Cinema camera, which I've actually never used. But one of the reasons for that,
he's excited about that grip.
Well, one of the reasons I've never used that camera, I mean, honestly, I don't really have occasion to. But I have this idea. It would be pretty cool. It'd be a cool camera to take traveling. If you're going to go to a really cool location, you want to take a nice 4K, RAW camera. It's a great option. It is micro four thirds. It is a great option, but the problem is the battery life is terrible. So you have to get the cage and attach the D-tap with the gold mount and blah, blah, blah. It just becomes, you can't use the camera the way it's kind of designed to be used because the battery only lasts 20, 30 minutes. With the new battery grip, it has new, I forgot what kind of batteries they are, but it's a 2-hour runtime. So it's a real, for me, it makes the camera actually usable. And if I wanted to go do a travel shoot or something like that, it would be a cool option.
I never understand camera manufacturers that manufacture a camera that doesn't have a sustainable battery life. I never understand that. It always becomes the big thing that everyone can't stand about it, and then they have to address it, And
third-party marketer or third-party manufacturers make a bunch of money on it.
Yeah, exactly. and it's basically okay, we gave you this really inexpensive camera, but we're going to have to make you buy some kind of battery solution so it really becomes workable on set. Yeah. So anyway, but Blackmagic has got great stuff. There's no doubt about it, and love the stuff they had there.
But back to some expensive lenses.
But back to expensive lenses, because we haven't talked about expensive stuff enough.
So the Tokina Vista Primes are probably some of the best lenses you can get for the price. They're full frame coverage, 1.5, They're a little heavy, but man, they're super sharp. They have great contrast, just really nice lenses. And they just announced a new line of Vista Primes called the Vista 1 lenses, and they're just single coating. So it's almost like the last lenses where like the single coating ones have more flare. They're more susceptible to that kind of thing. And so, I don't know, I think it's interesting all these lens manufacturers are making these different kind of flavors for their lenses.
Yeah. Well, those, when you say they're expensive, they are expensive, but in relative terms,
it's half the price of the others.
Yeah, I mean, they are really a pretty good go-to lens for cinema lenses that are not super expensive.
It's $5,000 a lens, and well, it kind of depends, but you can put together a set of 5 or 6 for 25, 30 grand.
I mean, even though it's extremely expensive, when you're talking about a still lens, it's, you know, $2,000. But in
for
comparison
for
a cinema lens, I think those are really a good place to go.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, you know, I have Leica R lenses that have been cinematted for video, and I love those things, and it cost me, you know, $7,000 to put together the set. If I was going to upgrade to another set of lenses, I would jump to the Tokina Vista Primes. I just feel like anything in between isn't really worth it.
Yeah.
And the last, most expensive thing I want to talk about is the ARRI Alexa Mini LF.
Oh, we saved the best for last.
The best for last. I'm so excited for the Mini LF because it does everything that the full-size LF does for like $20,000, $30,000 less. It doesn't do quite the frame rates in, you know, open gate. It only does 40 frames instead of 60 frames. But honestly, it's pretty amazing to have seen, you know, the original Alexas costing, you know, almost 6 figures, and now we have a pretty much top of the line, shoots Netflix, full frame, cinema camera, you know, in the $50,000 range for a body.
Only $50,000.
So just, you know, buy 2 or 3.
There you go, absolutely. So let's bring this whole thing way back around into perspective. Platter Pod was at NAB and announced their product there, which is $79, I believe.
Ultra Pod, right?
No, it's their standard Platter Pods. But they were at NAB for the first time, so it was great to have them there and to be able to see them. And people responded to that extremely well. I mean, they did very well at NAB. So,
the great thing about the Platter Pod is it's a niche product. Nobody else makes it. It does its job really well.
It does. Does what it's supposed to do.
And it's under $100.
Yeah, a reasonable price. So there you have it. So there's our look at NAB 2019. There's a million other products over there that we missed, didn't talk about, and everyone's saying, what? You missed this, that, and that. Put them in the comments, and we'll talk about them or respond to them, and we'll go from there. So keep those cameras rolling.
And keep on clicking.